It was over 20 years since I'd been to Africa, and I'd been thinking about going back since and how to do it. Last time I'd gone to the East African coast. This time with Cape Verde I was going to West Africa. The flight took me over the Canaries and I saw Gran Canaria below, tiny island dots in the endless Atlantic, a long way off the coast of Portugal. When the plane landed an hour later, I wondered what Cape Verde's Sal Island would have in store for me. At first glance, a barren desert island, with several small extinct volcano cones. I was staying in the coastal town of Santa Maria, known for its beaches, and that first night I went down to the town centre's beach, with the sun setting and a nice breeze. Locals were enjoying the evening, playing in the waves and doing a bit of surfing. I was staying in the town to get more of a flavour of African life than a resort, and I explored it the next morning. It was well kept with some beautiful buildings. The main street had most of the shops, but there were many cool murals in the side streets. Painted sidewalks led to the market. Set back from the beach, on entry I was immediately asked if I wanted fruit. It was an interesting building on 3 floors. Out back from the veranda I could see the desert in the distance with its white salt flats. The next beach I explored was to the east of the town centre. In the morning it was deserted and a little run down. There was a fair amount of seaweed in the water. As I walked back to town along the quiet street, I was approached by a local. At first he was friendly, then he proceeded to try some well-known scams on me. I went back to my apartment with its washing and view of the local playground. Then later I watched the sunset. In the airport I'd been asked what hotel I was staying at. Most of the passengers on the TUI plane were staying at resorts to the west of the town. I walked out to the resorts in the heat of the day to see this part of the beach, and ducked into a beach club for a drink to cool down before walking back. This beach had more people, but it was still relaxed. Away from the town, only a few entrepreneurial beach sellers had made it there. The well-heeled visitors were enjoying water sports, the beautiful ocean and lush yellow sand. I walked back along the beach and realised this beach was why many of the visitors had come to the island. It was stunning. After my walk, I went into a beach bar for a cold drink and listened to the Brazilian reggae they were playing. The town beach had lounges for people staying in the town, maybe wanting a more African experience than the resorts. You could get a drink at a beach hut and pay to use a lounger for a while. The town beach was still very clean, and out to sea there was a mix of fishing boats, yachts and jet skis. There was no sign of the weed I'd seen on the other beach. And set back from the beach there were some small beach hotels and restaurants. It was obvious in Santa Maria that Africa had moved on a lot since I'd been there, and quite some wealth had come to Cape Verde in the last 30 years, before which it was one of Africa's poorest nations. But with its influx of tourist dollars, Santa Maria may not be typical of all South towns, or the archipelago generally. Both locals and visitors stayed at the town beach into the evening, enjoying the whole day. Again locals were surfing and chatting to the tourists at the beach bars. It was a nice mix of people, and a drumming band played beats into the evening. It felt like it had been worth it coming back to Africa, and only a 6-hour flight from the UK, to watch the African setting sun. One morning I walked to the edge of town. There was new build and derelict cars. Then the desert flat stretched off into the distance. Too hot to walk far into it, I headed back to the comfort of town. I decided to head back out to the resort beach, this time dressed a bit more appropriately. Another beautiful day walking that gorgeous beach with the sand between my toes. Endless pristine waves lapped against the shore, and out to sea many kite surfers enjoyed the offshore winds, some a long way out. I wasn't surprised many of the visitors came to the resorts by this beach, and maybe never got any further into the island. Perhaps you could even eat Sal's cachupa dish at the resorts. If you want to see more of the island, you can get a taxi, or hop on the back of a truck, hire a quad bike or buggy, and get out into the desert. Mind, there is only one good road on the island, and you really need 4x4 off this. My last night I spent at the town beach. This is the most fun and lively beach, whether you want to join the locals in the sea, or sip a drink in a beach bar. For me, I was happy to spend my final hours beach walking in the sunset. In the morning I hopped into a car back to the airport. My last sight of the desert volcano cones, then through Pleasant Salt Airport and away with no delays. A good, pleasant and interesting trip. I'd recommend it. Thanks for watching.
Não vou mais chorar. Tudo que passamos juntos, nem o tempo, nem ninguém pode apagar. Não vou mais chorar. Vou deixar que Deus nos guie nesse caminhar. Não vou mais chorar. Tudo que passamos juntos, nem o tempo, nem ninguém pode apagar. Não vou mais chorar. Vou deixar que Deus nos guie nesse caminhar.